Hey, what's up guys? It's Marf and welcome to the answer part of the Q&A for 10,000 subscribers. I got over 90 questions or comments on the Q&A announcement video, so I'd like to thank you all very much for all of your questions. Quite a bit of them were kind of the same as some other questions, so I might not address every single individual question in this video, but hopefully your question is answered, and it also might be in like another video. Yeah, I'd also like to wish everyone a very happy new year. I'm looking very much forward to making more videos and expanding my content in 2021. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy my answers to some of these questions. And yeah, so we'll start out with Chaneden's set of questions here. And the first question is, do you think the Drive Syndicate 3 is worse than the Jesco Drive Syndicate? And I think absolutely it is. And the main reason, without going into too much detail, is just simply the fact that in the Jesco Drive Syndicate, if you did run out of coins, you could at least buy more with tokens. Whereas in Drive Syndicate 3, if you ran out of coins, especially after buying the relay packs, you had to spend real money. The second question is, which club are you in? Now, if any of you guys were super detailed and noticed, I believe a couple of weeks ago, or maybe about a month or two ago at this point, when I uploaded my multiplayer gameplays, my club actually changed from archetype to RPM, and so I'm actually in the official RPM club, or at least one of the clubs. I think I'm in RPM Emerald right now, which is kind of the more casual one as far as I know, so nothing super competitive or anything like that, but I'm very happy to be in RPM officially, and hopefully we'll be able to do some more stuff in the future with that club. But yeah, I'm actually in RPM on iOS, which is really awesome, and I've been really loving being a part of that community so far. The third question is, do you play Among Us? And I don't currently play it, or at least I don't play it a lot, but every once in a while some friends will want to play. It's not the best game in the world, but it's certainly a lot of fun when you're playing with a bunch of people, and I don't plan on uploading any gameplay of it, just simply because it's more of my private friend group, and I haven't really played Among Us with anyone other than that, but it's certainly a fun game, and I've been enjoying playing it. And his last question is, what dream car do you want? Now, this is an interesting question, because if I had like unlimited money, honestly, it's pretty hard for me to make a decision, because there are so many cars that I would love to have that are all somewhat equal in my mind. Of course, something new that comes out is going to grab my attention more than an old car, but just a couple ones to list off the top of my head that I would love to have as a dream car. The first two are the Lamborghini Reventon and the Pagani Zonda Cinque. Those are two amazing cars around the late 2000s era, so about 2010, when Need for Speed Hot Pursuit came out. That was the two featured cars, and of course I believe the Reventon and Cinque were both in Asphalt games as well, and those were just beautiful cars in their own right, and really high performance as well. But in terms of modern day stuff, the newly, I guess, revised SSE Tuatara is super interesting, and I really like the design of that. And of course, the Bugatti Lavator Noir, mainly for the looks of it, and just, it has like 6 exhaust pipes. I mean, how cool is that? And the design of that car is just so beautiful. But if money were still sort of an issue, I guess, one of the cars that, or at least my favorite car that is, I guess, somewhat obtainable, that would be my affordable dream car, I guess, if you could say, that's realistic, that I would be able to get, is the Audi TT-RS. And maybe not even the TT-RS, but maybe a TTS Coupe or something like that. I would love one of those cars. I just love the design of the TTS, and the performance is what I would consider fair enough for a street car. Like, if you're driving around an SSE Tuatara, chances are you're probably not using all of that power. So the second question or comment is from Jarvis, and they ask why you switched to iPhone. Now, I never switched to iPhone. I was always, in terms of mobile gaming, I started with iOS. So my first mobile device was an iPod Touch. So I've always been on iOS. But I'd like to sort of change that question to why I have not switched to Android, because a lot of people believe that is a superior platform. And there's no right or wrong answer to this, by the way. I should add before I go ahead and give my opinion on this. Everyone has their own opinion and their own preference as to Android or iOS. But in my opinion, I think iOS is a better platform for me. And the biggest reason is in terms of reliability on Android. And I do have an LG G8X running Android 10, so it's not like I don't have any experience on Android whatsoever. I did get to know that device and Android a lot better, but things tend to just randomly break. Like Asphalt 6, after I updated the phone, just completely crashes, and I have no idea idea why. Screen recording is super duper buggy. Sometimes it just doesn't record and sometimes it's glitched. And I found that on iOS, when Apple adds something, it usually just works. There's nothing crazy you have to do. And yes, you do lose a bunch of customization with that, but you get a very secure operating system. You get a very reliable operating system. And I just love the continuity between everything. Especially as I have my MacBook here that I use for editing and stuff. If I take a screenshot on my phone and I copy it, I can just paste it right onto my computer, or I can airdrop it. And so that is part of the reason why I love iOS. And the performance on iPhones in general has always been many years ahead of Android. Now that gap has been slowly closing, but I found that all the time whenever I upgrade my phone, at least on iOS, it's just such a massive improvement over what you would get in terms of Android. So the next set of questions comes from the Igniter, and the first one is, what editor do you use? Now before I say that, I would also like to mention that in the description of all of my videos, I always list the recording equipment that I use, but in terms of the editor, for most of my videos, because I have a set, I guess, way that I like to do most of my videos, I use ScreenFlow 9. It's available on macOS, and it's a very simple and very user-friendly editor. It doesn't have too many advanced features, but I really like it because I have a very set way of doing things in that editor, and I know my way around it pretty darn well. But if I want to do any advanced color correcting or anything super crazy, I'll use Adobe Premiere Pro. The second question is, Marf, your real name? And the answer to that is no. I don't know if that name means anything, but I don't know what parent would name their kid Marf. That would be a bit weird. The reason for that nickname is when I was trying to create my online name, I wanted something short and sweet. I didn't want anything too crazy or anything like that. And I watched this show called Robot and Monster, and there was a toy, or not a toy, a pet. It looked like a toaster, but I think it was just an aluminum block, and his name was Marf. And the only thing he would say is Marf. And it was the funniest thing ever at the time. And I already had a kind of like MARF kind of thing going in my head, but that certainly solidified Marf as my name in terms of that. So the third question, what is your favorite car? I kind of answered that with the first question, but overall, I would say the Audi TT-RS is just generally my favorite car. And the fourth question, where do you learn/get all of your A9 info? Most of the info that I get is straight from the Asphalt 9 official Discord server, and if it's not on the Discord server, I either get it through the Asphalt 9 website or the Facebook page, because sometimes they post things there earlier. And the last question from the Igniter is, how long are you playing Asphalt, or have you been playing Asphalt? So in terms of time, I've been playing Asphalt for about a decade now. I got my iPod Touch 4th generation, I believe it was either 2009 or 2010, I can't quite remember, but as soon as I got that, the first, or one of the first games that I downloaded after, I think about a week that I had the iPod Touch, I downloaded and played Asphalt 5, and I had such a great time. And because it was, I think at the end of its lifespan, Asphalt 6 was just around the corner, and when that released, I saw it on the top of the App Store, and I got it as soon as I could, and it was just an amazing experience. And after that, I figured, well, I mean, there's got to be, I guess, 6 of these, so I went back and I downloaded Asphalt 4 and played that in around 2010, 2011. And then, of course, after that, I waited for the releases of all of the other Asphalt games. But eventually, I did go back and play the older Asphalt games, such as Urban GT 1 and 2 on the Nintendo DS and on a PlayStation portable emulator. Next up, RPM Lhasa asks, what do you want to do for 2021 and what are your objectives? First of all, I'd like to say thank you very much for the congrats, Lhasa. And for 2021, I really want to expand what I do on this channel in terms of content. I want to start branching out and being more creative with what I do, because a majority of my popular videos this year have been just informational videos, which I certainly love to do, and I like being able to, I guess, introduce news and be the one that has the reliable information where, you know, if you want to know what's coming and what's new about Asphalt 9, I'm the guy to go to. I really like that, and I feel like I'm pretty good at that sort of content, and so I definitely enjoy doing it, and I want to continue doing that, but I also want to be more creative and take the time to explore different video formats and different types of content. So I mentioned in the Q&A announcement video that tech videos are something that I would want to do, as well as other games in general on this channel. So recently I bought The Crew 2. I would love to do some videos on that, and maybe some more Counter-Strike videos and PC or Mac gaming in general. I don't know, we'll have to see what happens in 2021, but my objective in general is just to expand the content on this channel, and of course grow the channel, because that's always a nice touch. The next question from Arclight is, any considerations about going to ESL finals again if you have the chance? Now, if I have the chance, I would absolutely love to go to more ESL finals, or I guess not more, because I only really went to one, and well, my plane was delayed, blah, 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 blah. The universe screwed me over. Anyway, point is, I would absolutely love to do that. Unfortunately, because everything is online now, you really do need to make like the top 2 in order to make it to the finals, which, yeah, I don't think I will be able to do, because not only I don't have the maximum amount of time I would like to in order to practice for those finals, but also there are a lot of really great people like you, Arclight, on iOS, who frankly I just would like to concede and be like, yep, you guys are better than me, go ahead and take the win there. But speaking of ESL, if they ever do invite me, which I doubt they will, but if I ever get the chance to do commentary or anything like that, you know, during the finals, that is also something that I would be really, really interested in doing. I love doing commentary, and so doing live commentary, shoutcasting, that kind of thing, that would be awesome. I'd love to be in that broadcast. And so yeah, I hope that answers your question. The next one comes from Evan, and he asks, what cars do you own in real life? Now, at the moment, we're all kind of stuck in this pandemic situation. Not a lot of people are going a lot of places. And so at the moment, I really don't have a need for a car, so I don't currently own one. But going back to that whole Audi TTRS thing, I'm trying to save up and see what I can do in terms of that. So fingers crossed, and I just cracked my knuckle there, but fingers crossed, my next car, it might be an Audi TT. It probably won't be a TTRS. Those things are kind of expensive, and I don't want to pay for the absurd repair costs and things like that associated with a TTRS, but maybe a base model TT, something like that. That would be awesome if I could like get my dream car. That would be really cool. Next up, what got you to start YouTube and what inspired you to start YouTube? Now, when I started YouTube, the videos that I were making was on a game series called Call of Mini, and I mainly started doing that because I was searching for content in that game and I just didn't find anything. And so I figured, well, if no one else is going to do it, I want to try and get a shot at this and see if I can sort of carve out my own niche with this. Now, granted, this was like 6 or something years ago, so I definitely was not as mature as I am now. And so it was just me recording myself playing the game, you know, through my iPod. So it wasn't a lot in terms of content and depth. But I just was really inspired by other people doing commentary and live commentary specifically on games, and I just saw an opportunity to carve out my own niche, and I just decided to go for it. And besides that, I was feeling like creative. I wanted to do something, and as time went on, I really wanted to express my opinions and my creativity through YouTube, and there was really no other way I could do it, and so that was one of the inspirations as well. The next question comes from RPM Zane, and he congrats me, so thank you very much. And why do you like the orange color? Now, that's an interesting one, because when I think about it, I get very confused myself. I don't know why I'm super attracted to the color orange. I mean, I have some ideas, like it's a very neutral color in my opinion. Like red you associate with things like blood and violence and all that, and blue is a very common color. And sometimes, you know, especially when you get into dark blue, you talk about like depression and sadness and stuff like that. But when you think about orange, and this goes for me, I don't know about everyone else, but I don't really think of much. And so I really just like the neutrality of orange. And not to mention, you know, when you get those beautiful orange sunsets across the ocean. And I think just orange, and I know this doesn't really have a lot of reason to it, but it's a very pretty color in my opinion. There are lots of shades that you can use to denounce different things. So like I said, you can have like a sunset orange, a deeper orange, but you can also have like a bright neon orange, which will look good in the daylight. And of course, as you know, I put my all of my cars on Asphalt 9, I put a matte orange finish on because I just think it looks really good in most lighting situations. So next up from Lil Sabetti, he asks, how tall are you? Tall enough. And the other question is, have you ever beaten the Ender Dragon? Now, when I started playing Minecraft, that was back in the good old days. I joined on the Java version in 1.2.5, I think it was. So at that time, the Ender Dragon was in the game. And it took me a couple weeks to sort of get a good single player world going, and I did eventually beat the Ender Dragon, but I didn't record it or anything like that. I didn't have a good enough laptop to do that. But I do remember kind of vividly, not vividly, but like vaguely. Wow, vividly is like totally opposite of the word vaguely. But anyway, I do remember beating the Ender Dragon. I haven't done it since though, honestly, which is weird thinking about it. It's been so long since I've done that. But yes, I have beaten the Ender Dragon. Next up, Thor asks, who is your favorite YouTuber? Now for me personally, my favorite, I guess, content and YouTuber on this platform changes every once in a while. I find new interests, or maybe I find a new YouTuber that really inspires me, and I really enjoy their content. At the moment, I would say my favorite YouTuber and the person who I really, I guess, anticipate and I really look forward to in terms of their content, his name is Racevic, and he makes basically, I guess, a variety of different things regarding video essays on video games in general. So he'll discuss ideas in general, like multiplayer gaming and different ideas about games individually. So he'll analyze like Need for Speed Most Wanted, and so all of his videos, while some of them I definitely don't have a specific interest in, but his quality and the writing and editing just encapsulate me, and I learn a new thing every time I watch his videos, and I really enjoy his content. And so I definitely recommend Racevic to you guys, and he is currently my favorite YouTuber. And last but certainly not least, from the Hot Dog 1, and he asks, which was better, Shrek 1 or Shrek 2? Now, I'm going to be honest, it's been a while since I watched Shrek 2, but Shrek 1 is like very prominent in everyone's brains by now. And while they're both really good films, I honestly would have to give the edge to the original Shrek because it's the one that started it all. And Shrek 2 has some really great memes, but Shrek 1, it's just the original. You can't go wrong with it. And while you can sort of pick and choose and be kind of nitpicky about Shrek 2, Shrek 1 is just like really good in general, not only because it's funny and the memes that come out of it are hilarious, but also in general, at least when I saw it, because it was a very long time ago when that film came out, it was just a good film in general. So I hope that answers your question, Hot Dog, and thank you very much for the congrats on 10K subscribers. And yeah, so that'll about do it for this Q&A, guys. I really appreciate all of your questions and your support on the recent videos, and I'm looking forward to this year and doing more content and having more fun. And again, thank you so much for 10,000 subscribers. It's a number that really didn't register with me until recently because it just like blew my mind. And so thank you so much, and I'll see you guys later.